Goeiemorgen! Good morning, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And wow, I wouldn't like to have a YouTube channel in South Africa right now, and I'll tell you why. The ANC government are coming down hard on you with censorship in a big-handed way. And it's going to cost money too to actually have a YouTube channel in South Africa, believe it or not. Let me tell you what they're saying. Hopes have been dashed that new regulations would clarify and untangle the mess of the Film and Publications Amendment Bill, also referred to as the Internet Censorship Bill. Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams published new draft Films and Publication Amendment regulations for public comment in the Government Gazette on the 3rd of July 2020. Legal experts have told My Broadband that among the problems that remain unaddressed by the regulators is the fact that the Film and Publications Board, remember this, FPB, Film and Publications Board, seem to want to appoint itself as an arbiter of what is and what is not protected speech. Now, I was only talking about this late last night with Dr. Peter Hammond about how hate speech and freedom of speech is being totally destroyed in countries like South Africa. Let's continue. While exemptions are created for media who are members of the Press Council of South Africa or an advertiser who is a member of the Advertising Standards Authority, now known as the Advertising Regulatory Board, the law as written tries to give the FPB jurisdiction over everyone else. Public comments for the new Film and Publication Amendments regulations are currently open until the 17th of August. President Cyril Ramaphosa signed the problematic Film and Publications Amendment Bill into law on the 4th of October 2019, but it has not come into effect yet. Nicholas Hall, the CEO of Interactive Entertainment South Africa, said, "It was hoped that the regulations would carve out broad exemptions for non-commercial user-generated content and give more specificity on what the FPB considers to be commercial, but sadly that has not been done." Hall is a lawyer who specializes in South Africa digital entertainment law. He explained that even though the amended FPB Act and draft regulations have definitions for non-commercial online distributor, this definition is never used. This means that even if you make no money from something you post online, the law technically requires you to register with the FPB and get your content classified before you post it. To illustrate this point, Hall quoted the definition of film as per the FPB Act, which could easily be read to include even animated GIFs. It states, "Film means any sequence of visual images recorded in such a manner that by using such recording, such images will be capable of being seen as a moving picture, and includes any picture intended for exhibition through any medium, including using the internet or device." The amended Films and Publication Act makes it a criminal offense to distribute a film as defined above without first registering with the FPB and getting your sequence of visual images classified with an age restriction. If you're convicted, you face a fine of up to 150,000 Rand and imprisonment for up to 8 months. The offence created in Section 24A of the Act applies to everybody, Hall emphasised, whether you make money from the videos you post online or not. Hall said, given the broad definition of film, it will apply to anyone who uploads a TikTok, YouTube film or any other video. Let me just say that again. This is Hall speaking. Given the broad definition of film, it will apply to anyone who uploads a TikTok, YouTube film, or any other video. And he went on to say, now the FPB is not currently enforcing this, but they're empowered by law to do so, which is very disturbing. It should be noted that the Amendment Act does not only try to give the FPB jurisdiction over films, but any kind of content posted online, including photos and text. However, for the sake of interest, we asked about the practicalities of giving age restrictions to live broadcasts on platforms like Twitch and YouTube. Hall explained, live broadcasts through the internet are exempt if the broadcaster would be regulated by ICASA. However, the bulk of private individuals are not regulated by ICASA and so won't be exempt. The FPB has previously stated that they do not consider these things to be covered by the Act, but the wording of the Act and legislation indicate otherwise. So what are the costs of classification? Aside from the freedom of speech concerns raised by the FPB's attempt to regulate the internet, it is important to consider that the FPB charges fees for classifying content. A fee structure that was proposed in 2017 has a fee of 415 Rand for a small client that produces films in Africa. This draft tariff document from 2017 doesn't include anything for Instagram or blog posts, but it does have a fee for periodicals, which is 8,213 Rand per year for small clients, or 926 Rand per issue. You can see how the ANC are now trying to raise revenue every which way they can. Hall explained that the draft regulations fail to address the issues of whether people who make no money from their social media posts will have to pay to get their content classified. If non-commercial distributors should be exempted from paying for classification or from having to be classified entirely, it is also not clear at which point you become a commercial distributor. Well, I guess if you're monetized and you're on YouTube, you are a commercial distributor. The FPB's fees could easily end up being higher than the money you earn from Google, YouTube, Facebook, or Amazon in advertising. Dominic Cull, a specialist in telecommunications law at Ellipsis, was also critical of the FPB Amendment Bill, but stated that it is extremely unlikely that the FPB will actually use it to regulate social media, as it is just not practical to. Cull said, "If I take the literal definition of the words in the law, then everything we as South Africans write, stream, or post online is affected. The difficulty is the FPB never actually goes there." Well, what's going to happen is that they've now opened up a loophole. So if they're not happy with the content of a YouTuber based in South Africa, they'll come down on him like a ton of bricks through this law. You watch. Regarding the practical implications of generating age restrictions for live streams, Cull said the people who wrote the FPB Amendment Bill and the draft regulations probably didn't even think about it. That wouldn't surprise me. Cull stated, "If you're a gamer and stream on Twitch, do you need to engage with the FPB? Theoretically, yes, but in reality, no, not really. The FPB can't be rationally taken to be saying all internet content must be classified." While Cull does not believe there is really anything for the average person on the internet to worry about, he agrees with Hall that some of the wording in the new law is deeply concerning. He said that the Film and Publications Amendment Bill is not only embarrassing, but is an indictment of the parliamentary process. Cull said, "I've got no issues with the FPB moving their focus to online streaming. It makes sense that something on Showmax and Netflix should be classified. However, the Act as it is now written completely overreaches," he said. Cull argued that the issues trace back to Section 22 of the Constitution, which states every citizen has the right to choose their trade, occupation, or profession freely. The practice of a trade, occupation, or profession may be regulated by law. The FPB is meant to regulate a specific trade or occupation, the entertainment industry. They've taken that and tried to apply it everywhere. You're trying to become some kind of body with rights over speech, Cull said. The second you have definitions like non-commercial distributor, you have a massive problem. Cull said that considering how the FPB is trying to set itself up as a body that regulates free speech, one has to consider nobody at the FPB is elected. They are appointed by the government. We saw that happen with the spear, Cull said. The Constitutional Court is the only body that I'll listen to about what is and what is not free speech. For this reason, Cull believes that someone has to take the Film and Publications Amendment Bill to the Constitutional Court. Hall agreed, saying that while the regulations could still help clear up some of the issues, he thinks the entire act is structurally flawed. He said, really, the only way to deal with that now is to mount a court challenge or get Parliament to start with a new amendment bill. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe. And remember that I am based in Australia, so I am not affected by this draconian new bill that the ANC have brought out. Okay, guys, take care.